Good evening, everyone. It is Monday, October 30th, the night before Halloween, and I am doing another live stream video here on YouTube and Facebook Live. This is my first day back from my 1 week trip to Salem and Cape Cod, and let's get the drawing board up. And Cyrilla's already up here, so we'll be bringing her in just a second, right? Where are you, lady? Well, you're on camera right now, full body, but some people might want to see your face. So let's switch over to this one. All right. Good evening, everyone. I hope you all had a good weekend, whether you were in Salem or not. I actually saw I shouldn't say quite a few. I saw a couple of friends up in Salem. Some who were there traveling to Salem. One person, of course, who lives near the area. Well, if you don't count Steph and Carrie Ann Wilson. Of course, I was staying with them, and that was the last time I actually did my live stream, too. It was from their studio. And I did do a live stream. I did do their live stream as well last week. Hey, Cyril. Somebody should come down on the... Oh, you're just going to be knocking stuff along. All right, and I did do their live stream, although I do apologize for the technical difficulties I was hitting, or we were hitting. I tried to do their live stream from my StreamYard, and that did not work out so perfectly. So maybe I'll switch off of the cat butt cam for a second, since she's going to be up here like this at the moment. Right, Cyrilla? Oh, yeah, now they can see your full face right in the camera. Anyway, yeah, Salem was good. It was intense. I am tired. I actually slept so late this morning. I was surprised. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I do want to do it next year for sure. I will put in a application for the Haunted Happenings Market. I did consider actually doing a second day or two. There was the offer to actually stay through Halloween, do tonight, or today I should say, and do Halloween as well. But I wanted to get back home. Honestly, I had I didn't know what to expect from Salem. So I kind of overpacked and everything. And Cyrilla's gone for a minute so I can get the artboard back up, which is usually what people really want to see. Anyway, yeah. I never got around to finishing that Sally, and disappointingly, or maybe good for other people, Glenda never sold over in Salem, so she is still available. $75 for Glenda. Anyway, I figured before I get into the live stream, I'll actually talk about some of the stuff. I'm up in Salem, right? And you would think, well, in Cape Cod, I bought a book. Finally bought Shadow and Bone, which I've been hearing a lot about, and I decided I'm going to give it a shot. Of course, I'm still reading the Stephen King books, so that's going to go on the shelf. But you would think I would buy some nice Halloween themed stuff, and no, instead I stopped in an art store, bought a bunch of mini canvases, which I think I'm going to at some point start. Well, of course, I think I am going to at some point start painting on them and offering them at conventions. I don't know that I'll be able to finish a mini canvas on a live stream just because I will be doing them on acrylics. And I also bought these nice wood panel boards, which I will also be painting on. I have some other boards too. I'm just looking into starting some new stuff to have on the table. I would like to get into mini canvases as well, but we'll see when those happen. Anyway, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to continue to work on Sally, because I got to be honest, I am so exhausted from Salem, and I'm afraid I'm going to mess her up if I start touching her right now, which is unfortunate because she is perfect for the night before Halloween, right? But I might work on another witch or something else smaller that I can finish in the live stream. Because again, I do, it was the advice of Steph Wilson and Carrie Ann, who I stayed with, and I was on their live stream last week. Hang on a second. Hey, Sarah. Come here. She is trying to get on bag of treats that was on the floor apparently. There's just a few left, lady. Anyway, yeah. So, the intention always was to do live drawings and kind of sell them off for claims during the live stream, and especially with the holidays coming up not too long from now, right? I would like to start doing that, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, of course, like, you know, if I'm not selling too many, there's no reason to continue doing it, but I would like to use the live streams to try to, move some original art at a good price for people. Anyway, let's get the Patreon supporters up. Take down the YouTube. Although I did have this up before, don't forget that my second novel, The Kirkland Horror, is available on Barnes & Noble and Amazon. I did sell a few of those over the weekend. Same with Robert Phillips. People were interested in both. The Pumpkin Witch sold well. And then, yeah, it was all over the place with prints. Just no original art buyers, which I was a little surprised about. I figured I might see one or two of those in Salem. Sorry, I don't know why I'm opening up the mini canvases, even though I'm not going to be working on them tonight. But, yeah. I don't know. It's either a witch, or I thought about doing a plague doctor tonight on the little piece that I have here. Okay, my markers are over here. I was getting nervous that I didn't bring them over. I've done a few plague doctors, but they keep getting a good response. So I might want to do more plague doctors too. We shall see. These are actually stuck together. These two little mini canvases. Yeah, so expect mini canvases on the table at some point. And they actually came with two little wooden, what do you call it? If I can think of the word. I can't. I'm really shocked today. I can't believe. I mean, I can, but Salem was so much work. I just had a constant flow of people coming up to the table, which was great. I mean, of course I want that. Where is the studio? Salem event went well. Yeah, the studio. This is my studio again. I am back in New Jersey, Rob, only for a few days before I drive all the way back up to pretty much to Massachusetts, although it's Rhode Island, for me to do the Rhode Island Comic-Con. But yeah, Salem went well. Salem did go very well. I saw Sarah up there. I don't know if she's here watching yet, although she was going to be attending the festivities again in Salem, so she might not make it to this live stream. That's cool. I saw Jack of Jack Designs, who I met. She's does a lot of keychains and other sort of really cute horror designs. Sarah is here. Hey, Sarah. Yeah, it was good to finally meet you. And it was interesting to find out that you keep missing me at my table every time I'm at an event. So, yeah, it's good that we finally did get to meet. And you pretty much met my entire family, too. Except Cirilla. You didn't meet Cirilla because there's no way this cat could make it on the road. Right, lady? I don't think we could do it. I'm not sure how we would get that done, as much as it would be fun, too. I would love it if I had a traveling cat. I just don't think it's I don't think it's in her personality to do it. So, yeah. But, yeah, you met Kyrie. You met my parents, my sister-in-law, my brother, my nieces. It was quite a lot of people there. But, it was a whole nice little vacation. I don't think I left anybody out. Yeah. So, oh, yeah. And then, yeah, I saw my friend Jack of Jack Designs, if I have that right. She was trying to get into Haunted Happenings Market, and unfortunately she didn't. But she was one of the other creators that had mentioned it to me. Let me see if I can actually find a link for her. I know her Instagram, but now that I'm on this, she's worth checking out. I've actually bought a couple of. What do I have it over here? I might have, because I haven't. I don't think I do. I never put the keychain on that I got from her because it's like one of those things where I don't want to wreck it by having it in my. Oh yeah, look, she's got a shop up. I've only bought from her in person and follow her on Instagram. But if you wanted to check out, is this her stuff though? Let me just make sure it's not a different Jack. This is not her. I'm gonna have to drop in her Instagram link then. This one, right? That's definitely her. Control C. Yeah. All right. So if you ever wanted to check out Jack's stuff, this is a different Jack than the one that works on Chadiana with me, right? Whether you're on whatchamacallit, Facebook or YouTube, you know, I got the link in both places. You can check out her stuff. I have a keychain from her, and I just don't know what I did with it. Anyway, it's a Jason Voorhees. One side is, I'm just remembering I bought some other stuff from her a while ago. It was Nightmare Before Christmas themed. Anyway, yeah, so that's Jack's stuff. If anybody wants to check it out, she was up there. I saw my friend Matt Farley of Moturn Media. Right? Let's plug his stuff for a second. And Matt is a multi-talented multimedia star, I would say. He does his own. He works on movies. Most of what he does is music. He's written a song about me. I do have there is a JM DeSantis song. And I was on Matt's podcast while I was up there as well. So, yeah, let's throw Matt's link up there. You can also follow him on, I think he's only on X. I don't know if Matt's up on anything else that I have seen. And then, of course, you know, the I wouldn't even say the unsung heroes of the weekend. It was Steph and Carrie Ann, who I stayed with for a few days, right? And yeah, of course, they're at Bad Carrie Studios, which is also on StephWilsonArt.com, but you can go over to this link for them. So, yeah. And, of course, they're on Instagram, too. Yeah. Well, if you're checking out Jack's stuff, yeah, it is really cute. Awesome. I feel like when I follow an artist on Instagram, a bunch more are suggested, and I'm like, oh, yeah, Jack's got some cool stuff. She's a really cool person and artist. So, yeah. Hopefully you're all get interested in that. Honestly, like I'm in my pajamas and I'm so exhausted. I'm not standing up to go look for that keychain. But I did get a keychain. I have gotten some Nightmare Before Christmas designs from her, and I got a keychain that one side was regular Jason Voorhees and the other side was the light blue and purple Nintendo 8-bit Jason Voorhees. So yeah, she's really got some cool stuff there. So yeah, check out those links, and I think that's it. I was next to a woman named Julie who was lots of fun. She was selling jewelry. My sister-in-law bought a bunch of stuff from her. So I'm just looking for my seltzer now. Oh my god. Yeah, so that was, God, it was such an intense weekend. I got to relax. The first day I was with Steph and Carrie Ann. Worked in the studio with them for 2.5 days. Did each other's live streams. Got to relax again in Salem on Friday. And then, whoa. I don't think even, and this isn't to knock it, I don't even think New York Comic Con has made me as tired as I am after doing Salem. It might have been the most intense show I've ever done. And I can definitely give it the honor of being the most successful show I've had of the year. It beat out Fan Expo Boston, which, no shade at Fan Expo Boston. I was very happy and surprised, but I was expecting big things from Salem, and it didn't disappoint. So, but I don't know how I made it home alive. I got to be honest, it was so intense doing that show. Anyway, everybody's come here to see me draw, so part of me wants to do a witch, part of me wants to do a plague doctor. I could do both. I could do a plague doctor and another witch. And again, as I said, Glenda's a nice $75 for her. Well, that didn't show up, did it? Scrapper. If anyone's interested in Glenda, I'm sure she will sell eventually. But, it's the last day before Halloween, and there is always the possibility that somebody wants a good witch for Halloween. Actually, I'm going to have to move that plague doctor down a bit. Actually, plague doctors fit pretty well with the Kirkland horror as well, since even though the Kirkland horror took a lot of inspirations from Bloodborne, there were some straight up plague doctor inspirations in that book as well. So for anybody that did go and buy it, yeah, I know that looks very light as I'm starting it out, but can't help that. The beginning of a drawing always seems to go very light for me. All right. So, yeah. Interesting. I wonder what everybody's plans are for Halloween. You can always drop that in the comments if you have any plans. Personally, I'm just going to relax. I'm going to have to, it's supposed to be a holiday for me, but it looks like I'm going to have to work some of it. And then, well, what's interesting about this, Sarah, is there are some go-tos for me. Nosferatu being one of them. And actually, I could make a quick list here if anyone will give me a moment for just moving this over so I can type it easier with two hands. I'm gonna have to do this right there. Yeah, there are my nice hairy arms on here. But there are some typicals. My most my top ones. Well, Nosferatu, 1922 version. 1920? 1922. That Stephen King story is throwing me off with that one all of a sudden. Nosferatu. I'm going to seem very basic with these because of how many of them are vampires. Vampire. Right. Oh my God! I hit enter. That was too quick. I would say Fright Night's another good one. So yeah, you got as far as the vampire movies go, yeah, I would say Nosferatu, 1922, Bram Stoker's Dracula. Apparently, the enter key does not show up when you do that, so they're running together. You do have the 1980s Fright Night. Evil Dead. Actually, I prefer Evil Dead 2, right? Is probably my favorite of the series. There's also... is Killer Clowns with C or K? I think it's C. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. What are some other ones? Yeah, I love Killer Clowns. My question for you would be though, with Evil Dead, are you referring to the original Evil Dead or the remake? Which I haven't seen the remake. Actually, I haven't seen the remake of Fright Night either. But Fright Night is such a good movie. The first one, the second one's okay. Believe it or not, one thing I really don't like, I absolutely hate The Lost Boys as far as vampire movies go. If you want to know how we got to Twilight back in the day, right? I think the Lost Boys were the precursor. I think you started with Lost Boys and then you moved to Anne Rice novels. Well, Anne Rice novels might have been first. I think the Interview with the Vampire was earlier than the Lost Boys, but either way, you went from those two to Twilight, and I do blame the Lost Boys and Anne Rice for why we got Twilight. I know there are some good ones, but I would say some of those are some of my top ones. I don't have a lot. And anything, right? Listen, here's the thing. Anything Hammer Films, right? For sure. I grew up on the Universal monsters, but the Hammer Films, as I got older, I really, really loved the Hammer Films. Even though I loved vampires and I loved Dracula, I wasn't allowed to watch Dracula when I was a kid. My parents thought maybe it would be too frightening. But, we grew up watching Creature from the Black Lagoon and Invisible Man, Frankenstein, all that stuff. My parents said we used to just laugh at Frankenstein. We weren't even scared of it. We thought it was silly. I haven't seen Martin. That's okay. So, no. You might as well pick my brain for movies. I'll keep throwing while you're asking questions. If I don't type more, I just wanted to throw some stuff into the chat for people to be able to scroll through. But yeah, I haven't seen Martin. If I remember, it's like impossible to find. Like you have to catch it on something. I don't even know if it's in print anymore, which is crazy to think, like something not being in print. Yeah, Martin's hard to find. I thought there was another Romero movie that I wanted to see that I can't find either. But maybe I'm just thinking of Martin. Maybe it's not anything else. But yeah, I would love to see Martin. I haven't been able to find it or catch it anywhere. Oh, you know what's a great movie too? It's another vampire movie, but it was the only like modern or more modern vampire besides maybe 30 Days of Night, which I really liked, but I had read the graphic novel before it. One of the best graphic novels I've ever read. Modern vampire movies, the one that I thought did vampires maybe the best is Let the Right One In. Not Let Me In, which is the remake. And I still think the remake's pretty good. Well, the American remake, but the original Let the Right One In, I think it's a Swedish film. God, that movie is so good. And it's like a perfect depiction of vampires. I don't want to spoil anything. There's the lousy version on YouTube. Oh, of Martin? Yeah, I guess I could catch it that way. That wouldn't be a bad way to do it because, you know, I would like to see the movie. I've seen it reviewed. I think I watched because I watch a lot of Red Letter Media. I think I watched their review on it, and that's where I first even heard of it and got interested in it. Yeah, and it's one of those films I would love to see. I feel like there is another movie. It might not even be a vampire. Oh, yes, it is a vampire movie. What is it? Perfect Dark? Or is it Near Dark? Now I can't remember the name of it. It's with Bill Paxton and Lance Hendrickson. I cannot find that. And yeah, it is Near Dark. Okay. Perfect Dark, I think, is a video game. Yeah. That's another one that's like you can't find it anywhere. And I would love to see it. It's just, I guess probably when it came out, I was too young. Even though I managed to see some of the Friday the 13th, Halloween, and some of the Nightmare on Elm Street films. Interesting side note about that. I was always a Friday the 13th fan as a kid, and I appreciate it a lot more now, but I don't know why. When I was growing up, I had like absolutely no interest in Freddy Krueger and his like jokes and everything. I just felt like it was too corny, and I wanted something more dark and brooding. And I really was not crazy about the Nightmare on Elm Street films until I got older. Yeah, Let the Right One In is 2008. Yeah, it's such a great film. I don't even want to spoil it by saying it's a vampire film. In fact, I did that to my parents. The first time I showed it to them, we did a lot during COVID. We had these like movie nights, and I caught up on a lot of shows that way too. And yeah, I remember setting them down, and I was like, "You got to see this movie. It's a really great movie. You're really gonna enjoy it." Blah 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 blah. But I didn't tell them what they were in for. I didn't tell them what type of movie it was. I kind of alluded to it being a horror movie. Sorry, I don't know what I did with my new erasers. I know I took them with me, but I don't know where they are. Yeah, but I alluded to the fact that it was a horror movie, but that was it. And then at one point in the movie, my mom, because she knows I'm really into vampires, she looks at me and she's like, "Is this an effing vampire movie? Is that what you had to sit down to watch?" I love it, though. It's so good. I don't want to spoil anything, but I think the way that the vampire in it is depicted, in the sense of, yeah, I can't. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody that hasn't seen it, but man, what an amazing vampire film. What a great, it's just a great film in general. Great horror film. Incredible vampire film. Now, Sarah, you said my fave, but I don't know which one that was too. Whether it was Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Friday the 13th. Which one it was. Oh, another thing, by the way. speaking of killer clowns from outer space, I also grew up, oddly enough, on the Critters series. Because a lot of these movies, oh, for Near Dark, your fave. Oh man, I just wish I could find it somewhere. I feel incomplete as a vampire fan having not seen that film. Right? So I don't know. Anyway, yeah, if anyone can ever track down a copy, I would love to see Near Dark for sure. But what was I saying? Near Dark. Yeah, we were on that. Let the right one in. Oh yeah, I was saying I grew up in the Critters films too, because you know what it was? Killer Clowns, Critters. A lot of those films would show on the Sci-Fi Channel or USA when I was growing up, so I could get away with watching them really easily. Stuff like that, and Puppet Master. Never saw. What is it like? Demonic Toys, I think. I don't know, because I had seen so much of Puppet Master, I felt like that was just going to be a cheap knockoff. I don't love how that hat's coming up. And I don't like what's going on with that arm. Anyway. Gotta figure out what to do with it. What else? As far as, well, I mean, I do like some of the Hellraiser films, although I have to be honest, I like what a surprise. I like the book a lot better, even though I read it later. I didn't realize Clive Barker was going to be such a good writer until I read him. And oh my God. If you do like Hellraiser, I would highly, highly, highly advise going for the Hellbound Heart. Honestly, Rob, I will take it in any media whatsoever. If I had a VHS player, I would, or a VCR, I would take a VHS. You know, like I honestly have heard so many great things about it that I think it's another one that, you know, I saw a Red Letter Media thing on it. I'm hating this piece right now. What a surprise, right? I think I should have been a lot more specific about what I was looking for with it. Okay. Yeah, I would take any media whatsoever, you know. So, if you know of where I can get it, I would very much appreciate it. But yes, I would love a DVD, Blu-ray, any kind of playable copy of Near Dark. I think from what I understand about it, it's one of those things that maybe it's Disney. Some company bought the company that owns it and just has not released this film for anyone to see since it was purchased. So it's just not findable, of course, right? Right, here we go. We're gonna get something going. You'll keep your eye out at Rhode Island Comic Con. Maybe a vendor will have one just for me. Well, hey, you know what? If they do, I usually try to buy things from vendors. Then again, it might be near dark in German. You know what, though? If it was playable in our region, I've always wanted to learn German. It's one of a couple of languages I really want to learn. That's funny. Last time I was in Rhode Island, I wound up spending a lot of money on myself. Usually I try to buy gifts for people when I'm at shows so I can support local artists. Hint, hint, people, that's what you should be doing when you go to a show. Supporting the local artists. Well, I think people on my live stream usually do stuff like that. That's why they're on my live stream. But for anybody that ever comes across this video when, for whatever reason, it winds up getting in the recommendeds on YouTube 10 years down the line, if society still hasn't pushed everyone to support artists, independent artists at shows and such, then yeah, you should be going around at a Comic-Con or whatever show and doing your holiday and birthday shopping from local artists. It's what I do, and you should too. Anyway, yeah, last time I was in Rhode Island buying stuff for myself, I couldn't find anything for my family, so it was a bit of a splurge. So you know what? Let's go 2 for 2. Hopefully Near Dark is in Rhode Island. Now, for anybody that is going to be in Rhode Island, like Sarah, you should all check out Tim Jones's new Sour Grapes collection. Tim Jones does a lot of humorous comics. Very, I wouldn't say nihilistic, but very self-deprecating and dark-ish humor. Not quite like Gentleman Cthulhu, but more in that kind of vein, in the sense that there's a dark tone to the humor in it. So yeah, I would check him out if you're going to be in Rhode Island, and check me out. I don't know what table number I have, but maybe now that things are slowing down a little bit, I say slow down, but they really are not slowing down, are they? Because I still have, yeah, that's a little bit better. I still have 6 shows to do, no, 7 shows to do. My comment got shadow banned. Which one? I was looking for a Near Dark DVD. I thought I addressed that one. Which other one? Let the Right One In. No, Hammer Films was me. I don't know, Rob. I didn't see another comment. I did mention that, yeah, I would totally go for a DVD of Near Dark, you know. I was going on that whole thing about even if there was a VHS, if I could play a VHS, I would totally do it. You know, nothing I want more than to finally see that film and maybe be able to rank it among my favorite vampire movies of all time, right? So yeah, please let me know if there was a comment that I missed, though, Rob. I thought I got to all of yours. If there's another one, then, and if it got shadow banned, it wasn't me. It was YouTube that did it. Find DVD 2. Yeah, it got shadow banned. Look up seller. I listed a certain selling platform. Ah, okay. I don't know. I don't have my comments set to anything. Oh wait, maybe I do though. I do have some of my comments set that if it's too violent or sexual, I have to approve them, but I'm not on YouTube right now to approve it, so it might have gotten it might have gotten flagged. And I'm sorry if that's the case, Rob. It's not you, it's just I don't want some random person going on my YouTube channel and saying something racist, misogynistic, or even you know any other kind of really questionable and illegal comments, comments on illegal activity. Think in the vein of like abuse, especially of animals and minors and stuff. So I just that would be the only reason I put that little cap on it. He's got new copies. Well, you know what you could do, Rob? Because I can't. Do you get a lot of people like that? I have never in my own live stream, but I have gotten it in other people's live streams. Yeah, I have. Just some I don't know that it's necessarily anybody aiming anything at me. There's just the online trolls or whatever. And since I'm not on YouTube, at least monitoring my channel all the time, I'm certainly listening to stuff on YouTube all the time. I don't really have the time to go through those comments constantly, especially if for some reason, let's hope so, my YouTube channel were to take off. I'd rather not have to spend all my time fielding that stuff. I look at it this way, Sarah. It's a very small, but I guess, very, what's the word? I don't know. Again, my brain is fried, but let me just put it this way. Considering, one of the main projects I work on, even though it's not, I haven't worked on it in a while, is Chadiana. I have had people make racist comments in my on other people's live streams before, and I'm always on the lookout for stuff like that. But then, I don't know. There's trolls everywhere, and I'd rather not spend my time with it. Not that Rob's a troll. I'm getting totally off topic. Rob, all I was going to say is that if you can't post it there because of whatever flag I have on there, and I do apologize, you could always message me on Facebook or Instagram, or you could email it to me, and that'll get through just fine. There won't be a problem with it. I do appreciate you trying to send something. I'm curious what the link is that it's getting flagged. I guess I'm not going to be able to read it either live on the show, but I won't even be able to look at that message until later. So anyway, am I doing a female plague doctor? Yes, I am. I seem to be doing more women lately because they seem to be getting more attention. And I think Steph Wilson is having well, you guys can decide whether it's negative or positive, but he's certainly having an effect on how things are going over here. Wanted to do a witch. I just kept getting a lot of people really interested in my Plague Doctor pieces. Well, technically Plague Doctor pieces. I have one Plague Doctor piece. The other one is Eileen the Crow from Bloodborne, but she has very much a Plague Doctor look. So, there are people that just mistake her for a straight-up Plague Doctor. And honestly, not that I want to be dishonest to anybody about it, but it's like, you know what? If they like her design and they think it's a Plague Doctor, who am I to tell them differently? Let them enjoy the piece. It is a very good piece. I wish I had more time before Rhode Island. After the insanity that was what was that? Salem Haunted Happenings. Oh my God. You guys have no idea. I was thinking about just taking the day off. I still had to like unload my car because I brought more than I needed to. I brought out to the park because we had to break down and set up both each day because they were afraid, just for anyone, that their stuff would get wrecked because of how out of control things can get at Salem during the Halloween season. We had to break down and set up both days, but the first day I probably brought out to the park more than double the amount of stuff than I had on the second day. It was a good learning experience. Facebook messaged, "Thank you, Rob. I'll check it out after the live stream, and I appreciate it. If I can grab a copy of it, I totally will. And then, I'll save Sarah one trip around the show floor at Rhode Island. Actually, just because it was outdoors, it was a little harder, but typically I like to get to walk around at a show I'm at. This is one of the times that I had help, but I've been also trying to be at my booth a lot more, which, funnily enough, Sarah has somehow seen me at 2 shows where I was not at my booth enough. I think I've talked about this on a live stream. I'm starting to know so many people. It's very hard for me to not spend a lot of time away from the booth. But at the same time, I am there to work. And I'm trying some new strategies of like standing the entire time, which was really rough in Salem. Just because of like how much, it was outdoors and on a paved, park area. It was rough, even with my anti-fatigue mat. And then, right, what was I going to say? The Salem Haunted Happenings. I'm telling you, I'm losing it. I just cannot seem to keep my mind on a thought. I know that I was talking about moving around, walking around it. Right, didn't get a chance to. Very tired. Right, we had to set up and break down each day. I don't know. I think that I jumped all over the place, didn't I? If I sound like I can't keep a thought straight, I really can't. I was so tired. I had to unpack the car. Right, that's what I was talking about. I was unpacking the car because there's too much stuff. I brought more than twice as much out the first day than I did the second day. So yeah, I definitely really overpacked the car. I mean, I still did really well at the show. No originals sold, but lots of prints and books and such. And, my sister-in-law's Lucky Little Loops were on the table too. And those did pretty well. But yeah, I brought way too much stuff with me. So I had to empty the car so that I could resort it for Rhode Island this weekend. But I don't even know how I managed that. I really don't. I am so damn. Oh, that's what I was going to say. That's what I was trying to say. I was going to play a video game. I started playing Lords of the Fallen again, which I haven't touched since I was gone. And I swear I was getting disoriented running through a tunnel fighting things. I just could not. That's why I don't want. That's why I said at the beginning I don't want to touch the Sally piece because I'm afraid I'm gonna mess it up right now. Like this isn't going perfectly, but at least it's looking okay. If I touch Sally right now, I'm really gonna muck her up. She's coming out so good. I have to do it on a day where I've gotten even more sleep. And like I said, I slept late today. 10 a.m. That's when I woke up. I mean, I might have slept one day to 10 a.m. when I was staying with Steph and Carrie Ann, just because of how tired I've been with all the shows I've done. But other than perhaps that day with them, I mean, sleep until 10 a.m. I mean, yeah, maybe when I was in college on the weekends, because I used to have to get up to make a 7:30 bus to go to Pratt every day, but when I was in college. But yeah, like 10 a.m. is late. 10 a.m. is so late for me. I did want to take the day off, but I promised everybody a live stream. I am going to have off for Halloween. My birthday is in 2 days, so I'll get some rest before Rhode Island. I can't believe how much work Salem was. It was great. I'm so happy I did it. I know what to expect for next year. I want to go back next year. But that was another reason why I couldn't possibly do today and tomorrow in Salem, even though the offer was there. And even though I'm sure I would have made really good money and met even more people that were really into my stuff. There were good responses there. I just, I couldn't do it. Next year, maybe next year. We'll see what happens. I only have one event scheduled for next October, which is another one of those scary story book fests, which I did down in Asbury Park a few weeks ago. They already set the date for October 12th in Asbury Park, New Jersey, so I'll be doing that next year. Right now, as it stands, I have 12 to 13 shows already booked for next year. So, that's something. I'm curious. I just got to drop this down to see what Rob sent. Oh, I have to open the message. I can't do it. I'll check it out later, Rob. I'm curious. Anyway. But we were on horror movies before. Actually, funny thing, I said that I was getting it confused with the date. The Stephen King story confused with the year date of Nosferatu. But it's now going back years, right? But one of the first Netflix original movies I watched was 1922. Which is based on a Stephen King story. And I have to say, that was a pretty good horror movie. Oh, I did. Cirilla was, the minute I walked in, she was all over me. And then today, I don't let her out a lot, right? Sometimes if she really hasn't been out, I like her to have a full life. And she gets her shots and everything, right? But today, especially when I'm moving stuff in and out of the apartment, right? Like I did today, I was emptying my my car and bringing the stuff back in the apartment. So I let Cirilla out. And usually, I live in a garden apartment. She'll bounce around on the lawn or whatever while I'm loading stuff in and out of the apartment, and she'll come in roughly when I come in. Sometimes she'll be out a little longer. Today was the first time I ever saw her do this. I'm doing my second trip to the car. I'm loading stuff out, and I hear this meowing behind me, and I see the cat. Cyrilla's just running toward. I was on the apartment side of the street, but she's running toward me on the road. I had to chase her back onto the lawn, and I don't like scaring the cat. I try to be very good to her and not make her afraid ever, but I didn't want her to get into the road. And then she just sat by where the mailboxes are, which are outside, just watching me, and for a little bit meowing at me, like she was just afraid I was going to get back in the car and leave for a week again. She's really going to be unhappy in a couple of days when I got to leave for Rhode Island. But yeah, I guess I've never left her for a week before. I've left her for 5 days. Once, and that was when my family took a trip to Disney a couple of years ago. But she, oh God, she really was not happy with the idea that I might be leaving her again. So don't worry, I got plenty of time with her. The only thing I felt bad about was she was out of food when I got here last night, and I was so tired. All I did was bring my bags in, and I fell asleep. And of course, since I slept till 10, I usually feed her, give her water in the morning, and then I give her treats. So she had to wait so late for me to get up. I just couldn't pick my head up. I could have slept even more. I could have slept the whole day. But I will catch up on rest, Sarah. Don't worry. Tomorrow's Halloween, and in my calendar, I consider that a holiday. And since my birthday is November 2nd, and there's a day in between, if that day falls on a weekday, I consider that a floating holiday. So, but I'm not going to be able to take the next 3 days off as much as I would like to. First of all, I do have to reorganize some stuff for Rhode Island. I might even have to put an order in for some new bookmarks because I think I'm out of my bookmarks. They probably won't make it for Rhode Island, but I will certainly need it for Monster Mania the week after that. And it's just like a couple of little things. I got to finish up a commission too. But yeah, I'll get to relax some. I just might not get to. Yeah, of course. For us Halloween people, of course it's a holiday. But it's not really a holiday when you are working in an office or whatever. We need to make it like a federal holiday. Everything closes on Halloween. Every place in the country should be like Salem. It should just be so insane that the only businesses that could possibly deal with it are places to eat and places that are for scares and such on Halloween. Everything else closes. Even the banks and schools, just let everybody enjoy Halloween. Yeah, so I'm not going to get to take quite the 3 days that I would have liked, but I did get some days off last week, so it'll be all right. But I'll probably have to work a little bit on my birthday. I do plan on taking tomorrow off if I can manage it. The most I'll do is maybe just organize some of my stock so that at least is done. Maybe while I'm watching some horror movies that I've seen already so that there's at least something going on. But actually on Wednesday, because I live very close to Teaneck, New Jersey, my friend Chris Campana is having a store signing at A&S Comics on Wednesday. I think it's for Red Goblin. I don't think it's for Ghost Rider. I think it's for one of the Red Goblin issues. And that's great because he lives further south than me. He's done signings at Silent Bob's Secret Stash, which, I've traveled down there once to see him, but having him like right here is going to be great. So that'll kind of be like a little something. My friend Anibal Arroyo, who wrote and illustrated Little Steve's Closet, which I published through Darkfire Press. That's his children's book. Incidentally, I should do more spooky children's books, and I plan on it. Yeah, he's going to go with me because he's like one of the few, most of the people I know live in New York that live in this area. I think Chris and Anibal are like the two New Jersey people I know. Maybe Dave Ryan. I think Dave Ryan lives in New Jersey. But yeah, so we're going to go and see him and maybe make a little bit of a day out of it. So I'll probably the one day that doesn't count, right? November 1st, not my birthday, not Halloween, the day in between. That'll be the day that I'll probably get to relax. No, I'll try to relax tomorrow on my birthday. Actually, I don't think Chris is going to be at A&S until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so I could work a light day in the studio if I get up early enough and get to work by 8 o'clock like I usually do. Yeah, I could probably get enough time in before I catch up with Anibal and we go over to A&S. Even if we wind up grabbing lunch or something before, I should have enough time to relax. And then something. I don't know. Losing that train of thought again. It's scary what's happening to me. I feel like I cannot keep the thoughts in my head properly. It's just like they're spilling out. Like my brain was literally leaking. I was just so tired. I got home at 11:30 last night because it took me about an hour to break down, which, considering the tent and everything, was not that bad. And then my parents stuck around. My brother and sister-in-law and my nieces had already left. And then we stopped on the way back to New Jersey for something to eat before we just broke off and went our own ways. But yeah, I don't even know how I made it home. I honestly don't. God, I was so tired. I still am, and I don't mean to whinge too much. I hope I'm not. That was 2 really intense days, and they were fun. I always want to remind anyone that's watching this now live or in the rewatch. I love doing shows. I would not do shows if I didn't love doing them. But every once in a while, you hit one or you hit a stretch where, man, you are so tired. But I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I still just love going to them. I love doing them. I'm off to watch YouTube kick with people living in renovated fire lookouts. What? My new YouTube kick. Oh, with people living in renovated fire lookout. Oh, that's kind of cool. I hope you enjoy it, Robert. I'm going to be, I'm still going to be in New Jersey a couple times before the end of the year. But, if I don't see you, that's great. I do hope the rest of the shows are successful, too. Thank you. You have a good night, too. I'm still going to try to make it to 10 o'clock tonight. We'll see. Hey, everyone, by the way, if I happen to just fall asleep in the middle of a live stream, try not to make too many videos, just laughing at my expense for it. I don't care, honestly. No, if I get too tired, I'm not going to end it. It was good. But yeah, I do want to stress that I love doing shows, so never think that if I say I'm tired, that is true, but I would never not do shows. I only took one, I'll tell you when I didn't like doing shows. I hit a point in 2018 where I was getting burnt out. And I felt like I was going to start to be like some people that I have met at shows. That would be funny if she did. She doesn't usually lay on me, though. That's a weird thing. She loves laying next to me. She likes being picked up a lot of the time, but Cirilla doesn't often lay on me. Occasionally. She's not a lap cat. She's more of like a next to your arm cat. But yeah, the only time I didn't enjoy doing shows was I hit a point in 2018 where I had been getting burnt out. And I have met some people at shows, believe it or not, that are just, and I won't say anybody by name, but I've met some miserable people at shows, and it's just like, why do you even do them? If you seem to hate people so much, why do them? And I just don't think it's worth it. There are other ways to make money as an artist than doing shows. There always have been. But and I didn't want to be that person being miserable at a show. So from 2018, it was like I didn't apply to New York Comic Con that year. I pushed back my I was going to do Rhode Island Comic Con, and I pushed it back to 2019. And I decided that's what I was going to do. If I got into New York Comic Con in 2019, I was going to do it. But essentially from whatever I had done before New York Comic Con, it might have been Baltimore. I took a whole year off since I didn't get into New York Comic Con the following year. That's when I stopped getting in, was after I took a year off. It was basically from what would have been New York Comic Con until Rhode Island of the following year, with the exception of the one Barnes & Noble signing I did for Robert Phillips. I took a whole year off of shows. I just felt like I needed it to recharge and start enjoying them again. So yeah, if I really didn't enjoy shows, I do promise I would just take a break. So if I ever say I'm tired, it's not a knock at doing shows. I love doing them. I would not do them if I didn't enjoy them, that's for sure. I am just I'm surprised how tired I am. I feel every day of 40 years old right now. I just feel so exhausted. But it was great fun. It was good seeing so many people. It was great learning some new things, some tricks and stuff from Steph and Carrie Ann. It was great seeing you, Sarah. It was great seeing Matt. It was great seeing Jack. Great meeting some new people. Somebody came up to my table that apparently bought the Tainted ones a few years ago. I think she probably bought it in 2019. She thought it was in 2017, but it wasn't out yet. And she remembered that comic, and she was excited to see me. Somebody else came up, too, that said they knew my work and had no idea I was going to be there. And then there were a lot of people that were just really into Robert Phillips and the Kirkland horror. There were people there that, of course, loved the Pumpkin Witch. You know, a lot of people like the Pumpkin Witch. Maybe I'll do more with her at some point down the road. No, it's like a full... I still don't think you're 40. You know what, though? My students used to say that to me, too. It's very kind of people. Must have good genes. I'm not really sure. I don't know. But, yeah. I am... Actually, I'm going to be 41 on November 2nd. 41 years old. But you know what? I'm not even upset about it. I might have mentioned this on the live stream too. I don't know for sure, but considering, you know, and this is not a knock on anybody. It's always unfortunate when things happen. Considering I'm alive without, to my knowledge, any major health problems, having all my faculties, although today I'm not so sure. With how tired I am. Having all my faculties, my vision, everything seems to work, especially my right hand, which I need for drawing, for my eyes. I don't know. It feels like an accomplishment making it 40 years. Like, that really feels... I want to move this over so I make sure that I have this in on camera at all times, because sometimes I'm moving over there. Anyway, yeah. I don't know. It feels like a really solid accomplishment having made it 40 years on this earth. You know? So, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't bother me. Some people get really upset when they get older. And I appreciate that people think I'm younger than I am. Again, very flattering, Sarah, it is. But, yeah, I don't... It's amazing that I made it this long. And not for any... You know, it's funny because, like, I remember seeing something totally different, right? Because not that I lived this kind of life at all, but it was... oh, God, now I'm forgetting his name. One of the Jackass guys, not Johnny Knoxville. Oh, Steve-O, right? He was talking about how he was getting very self-conscious for a while about turning 50. But then he realized kind of the same thing I am. And, he's done a lot more to himself than I have. You know, he's still alive. He suddenly was very appreciative that he made it to 50 years old. I haven't done the stuff that obviously Steve-O has, but yeah, still the same sentiment. It's amazing to make it so long. It really is. I wouldn't say that I'm going to count the years always as a blessing. I'm not quite that type, but certainly I do feel good about it. I guess there's... I don't really talk in these terms, but there's certainly reasons to be grateful for it, you know? Grateful to be around 40 years. And if I'm lucky, I'll look this good at 50 too. Although the one thing I do have to say as far as taking care of myself, if I didn't think I had to before, I really have to start working out again, because I think that if I were in slightly better shape, doing Salem would have just been like a tiny bit easier than it turned out to be, because, man, I really feel like I wrecked my body. I work as a massage therapist, and having heard people talk about their issues after 14 years, I'm very grateful for my health. I like your outlook. Well, honestly, Sarah, if you've watched enough live streams, you know that I'm not always that positive about things, but in this regard, Yes, I am. And I appreciate that. That's recognized. I don't want to out her about it. I was going to tell a story about somebody that I know that's also about my age, but it's a female, and I don't want to out her by name for saying that she's. But we had that discussion, and because when she turned 40, I told her my outlook, and she was like, you know what? That really does sound good. I think I'm going to go with that one. Because I know she was nervous about getting older. I just guess I'm old school that way, not asking or giving out women's ages to people. But I doubt she's listening to this anyway. But, on the off chance, I just don't think it's right to do that publicly. Anyway. I think I like the way I draw plague doctors, though. That's something, right? Since I seem to hate everything I draw. Maybe the live streams are going to have to be these smaller pieces, which is unfortunate. I know people would like to see bigger ones from me, but I would like to choose stuff that I could finish in 2 hours. Thank you. Yeah, I think she looks pretty good too. It's a cool design. I'm probably going to leave her in black and white. And I think at this point right now, Sarah, you're the only one watching. But if I leave her in black and white, maybe $50 is a good price for it, for black and white. It's funny, black and white doesn't take any less time than a color piece does, especially if you wind up having to ink it as much as I typically do. It doesn't take a lot less time, a little bit because there isn't as much coloring, but generally you are still, especially this is going to be a lot of black, so I'll still be. Oh, actually, well, don't think of yourself as creepy, but somebody else just tuned in. There is a second eye on it. Seems to be on YouTube, but it's not Rob, because Rob is gone for tonight. So who knows? Might be my parents, actually. Sometimes they tune in on YouTube. Not telling everyone to do that, but YouTube is where the views are at for me. Maybe one day I'll be making that sweet $3 off of YouTube ads a month. No, hopefully more than that. I gotta make content for YouTube if I'm really gonna make any kind of true money at it. Oh, but no, don't feel creepy. I've had people having personal shows at different times. Rob's been the only one on there sometimes. James. Oh, James is sometimes on YouTube. I wonder if James is tuning in. I haven't seen him. I don't know that he was on last week, and the week before he popped in right at the end. Forgot to close the window. No, not necessarily, Sarah. Honestly, because if you watch on Facebook, more people on Facebook will see my live streams too. I was just thinking in the sense of getting my watch hours up on YouTube, but I only have 27 subscribers right now. I need 1,000 subscribers before YouTube can even be monetized. So Is it more beneficial? Probably not. It probably doesn't matter whether you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook. Either way, you're helping me get up in the algorithm. And honestly, there's still a lot of people on that watch on Facebook, so I'm not against you. I'm not against anybody watching wherever they feel most comfortable. So yeah, just keep watching on Facebook. That works just fine. It's nice to have people on different platforms too. Because if there weren't people watching on Facebook, people on Facebook probably wouldn't see it in their stream as much. YouTube, the algorithm's just different. I don't think I'll get as many people watching on YouTube until I start making content on YouTube. I don't think live streams in and of themselves really build a YouTube channel. And I would say that's probably true because most of the people I watch on YouTube don't live stream, and those that do, I don't even watch their live streams. Nothing against them. I just tend not to see things live. Even from my friends, I just don't always get to. But yeah. Oh. Hey, really? There you are. She's right next to me on this chair here. Can we get a picture of her? Can we see her on her little chair? There she is. Hello, Cyrilla. Hey, baby. She's the best. At least she's just sitting there quietly for once. I say that, and then she's going to jump up here and make a mess of this whole thing. Oh, man, whoops. And I moved this a little too much. Anyway. Yeah, live stream drawings. I mean, tomorrow is Halloween. I wonder what I'm going to do with them from now on. If I don't have Nightmare Before Christmas and Sexy Witches to draw, I don't know what it's going to be. I guess I could keep going with those themes. It doesn't matter. No, I'll mix it up, though. And Nightmare Before Christmas really goes from October 1st, if not earlier, all the way through December 25th. So, because it is both a Christmas and a Halloween movie. And anyone that wants to argue differently, I would point out that the story takes place between Halloween night and Christmas Eve. Actually, I think it falls into Christmas Day too, so yeah. That's a full, just short of a full 2 months in real time that movie takes place in. So it can fall into both categories. Then again, I'm one of those people that thinks Die Hard is a Christmas movie, so, you know. I don't know. People keep popping in and out. Maybe somebody's having trouble with their connection on YouTube. I wonder if I should just hide the views. Die Hard is definitely a Christmas movie. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The first and second one, although I've only seen the second one once or twice. Man, I loved the third one, though. It's a weird thing, right? So Die Hard falls into this category. So does RoboCop. What else? There's a couple of films where the first one in the series I saw was not the first film. RoboCop, I think I saw RoboCop 3 first. Die Hard, I probably saw Die Hard 1 first, but the one that really stuck with me was Die Hard 3. I swear it wasn't always three. Sometimes it was sequels, but there were a lot of films that, yeah, like the first ones I would see were not necessarily first in the series. In fact, Friday the 13th, even, I think the first one I saw was like number 4 or 5, you know. And even though some people hate it, I also grew up watching number 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, a lot. So, like, I love that movie. I don't care if people don't like it. And still, one of the funniest things was seeing Jason walk past that group of, I guess you would call them punks on the street, and just kicking that friggin' that boombox up into the air. Just like an epic moment in cinema history. Let's see, Terminator. I definitely saw the first one first. Oh, you know what I forgot to mention as a horror movie? I'm sorry, Sarah. We're backtracking a bit. The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing. Not just a horror movie. I don't put it up there enough on my list of favorite films, but it is one of my favorite films of all time. And the ending of it is what made me love the idea of cliffhangers. God, that movie's so good. If you haven't seen The Thing, you should. Yeah, The Thing is amazing. Also, not a horror movie, but on my list of favorite movies of all time. And it still is very dark. So maybe, like, when you're looking for a dark film post Halloween, if you've never seen Seven with Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt, oh my God, what a film. I love that film. See, as you can tell, it's very dark everywhere I wind up going. The Changeling. I think I saw that once. Oh my God. And I've seen Dune in bits and pieces, probably once altogether. I've seen the new Dune, which I really liked. I still gotta read the movie. See, I'm telling you, like, I'm so shot mentally. I have to read the book. Sorry. And, like, get my brain to work properly. Yeah, Seven is. And it's another one that just the ending was. I don't even want to say anything. What a great film. Actually, you know what? What's another movie I like that is a horror movie? And it didn't really get a lot of love when it came out. And I'm not going to apologize for this. And Seven reminded me because it was written by the same guy, Andrew Kevin Walker, who's a great film writer, is The Wolfman with Benicio del Toro. I actually really liked it. I did not like one part of the end, which I thought was very overdone and Hollywood-like, but other than that one little thing, which I imagine was some studio meddling, I love that film. I also really love Sleepy Hollow. And if we're going to get on to Tim Burton stuff, Sleepy Hollow, Beetlejuice, and Sweeney Todd, probably my favorites. Beetlejuice was of course, I was growing up with that one. And I love the 2 Batman films he did. Also, not going to apologize for that. I thought they were great. That's what started me on wanting to catch every Batman movie that ever came. So, don't go into... Oh, my God, Cirilla. Don't go into it with too high of hopes, because there are some things that you might find disappointing about that film. But I love period pieces. If you slap a bunch of people speaking in English accents and some, bodices and vests and, ties and looking sharp and riding around in carriages. Um, I'll like the film. I don't really care. It's the same thing, you stick people in armor and chainmail and give them swords, and I'll love that movie. I'll find something to like about it. But yeah, when it came out, people, oh my god, people were really not happy with that, with the Wolfman. But I don't know. I watched it again recently, not during Halloween. It was just like it was on Tubi, I think, and I was like, you know what, I'll just like watch this while I'm drawing, and because Tubi is sometimes something I'll put on, and yeah, I was like, that movie's not as bad as I remember it. It's actually pretty good. So yeah, I would catch it if you can. Would I say it's my top recommendation? No, but it's a solid recommendation. I think it is a worthwhile. Um, I think it's a worthwhile film to see. I did not like Dracula Untold. Speaking of Universal and their attempts at launching their dark universe, and of course, I hear that. I don't think I highlighted that comment. I hear that Guillermo del Toro is going to be remaking The Bride of Frankenstein, which I think will be great. But I think one of the problems that, and I didn't see The Mummy with Tom Cruise, but I did see Dracula Untold, and I didn't like it. I think one of the problems that Universal is having with launching its dark universe, cinematic universe kind of thing, is that like I think they keep getting nervous. Like the Wolfman, some people didn't like it. There definitely were some issues with it, I would say, but generally, all in all, not a bad film. And I think because that didn't do well, they started worrying that, well, maybe period pieces aren't the way to go. So then I think they tried an Invisible Man remake, which I didn't see because it just reminded me too much of it. It just looked like it was too much like Hollow Man with Kevin Bacon, which I did like. I liked Hollow Man. So I just thought it was going to be too much of a rehash with that, but that was more modern. And then they went back to Dracula Untold, which was more period. Then they went to The Mummy, which was gender swapped and a modern take on it, which I don't care about the gender swap, but I think they just should have went back to like sticking with the old, like doing the period piece films, and seeing how that would go. They would have stood out, you know. The Wolfman is so moody. In fact, I mentioned Sleepy Hollow, but I feel like the cinematography and such and the designs in that film very much fit into that same kind of Sleepy Hollow feel. They should have just kept going with that. Or if they were going to go like modern spins, then they should have just done the modern spins. But I know that they reworked their strategy because, as I recall, they had Benicio del Toro for the Wolfman. They had Johnny Depp for the Invisible Man. There was a whole, there was like an article I think that Entertainment Weekly put out, and there's a picture of all of the people on it. And in fact, why do I want to say there was a actor that they set up for a future film? Oh, right. Oh, God, what was that movie? I'm getting something confused. I feel like Russell Crowe played a character in something that showed up. I thought he was supposed to be Dr. Jekyll. Oh, now I'm really just all over the place. I can't remember anything. Anyway, yeah, I think that Universal should have just stuck to a plan. Kind of like DC wound up falling into eventually, even though I'm not much of a superhero guy. But I like Zack Snyder's films, and I I eventually saw Man of Steel, and I eventually saw, and I'm not a Superman fan, and I eventually saw Batman v Superman, and I gotta say, I didn't see any problems with them, but yeah, I think that Universal just fell into that. With my outside opinion looking in, I just feel like they should pick a direction and go with it. Kind of like I should do with Chadiana. Well, not that I didn't pick a direction and go with it, but I really have to get out of this habit of restarting things when I don't feel they go well. I should learn from Universal. Yeah, Universal should have put out the Wolfman, and then I thought that the Invisible Man was going to be like the next one. They should have just went right into it. Just stuck to their guns, so to speak, and, committed. Because I think that if you have it's just like a piece of artwork, right? Like, there was a period in this piece right here, this Plague Doctor piece, where I was like, you know what? I don't know if I like it. There's a period with the Oogie Boogie I did on a live stream last week. I wasn't sure that I liked it at one point, but I think you have to see something all the way through to make a definitive decision on whether it was a good idea or not. And I think if you switch things midstream, which did happen to me with Chadiana when I was having it published through Rosarium, because I did not feel like I was getting the editorial support I was looking for at the time. I think when you keep changing when you don't assess something, an artistic endeavor, when it's done, I mean, there is some assessment that comes into it as you're working. But if you don't assess it when you're done and you keep changing your vision midstream, it's going to create problems in the final artwork. And I think that's what Universal's kind of been suffering from. They just as an entity, they keep changing their idea for what the Dark Universe should be, and I think they should just stick to a vision and go. Speaking of which, though, and I guess it's relevant, I had a student that used to do that. And he turned out to be a really great artist. He worked on his art and decided to go to art school, I think, a year or two after he graduated. And I was just so impressed with him. But when he was in my Art 3 class in high school, this kid would have such a great vision. I would approve his sketches. I would say, yeah, go with this idea. And then suddenly he would come back to me with a finished piece, and half of it would just almost look like it was done by a different artist. And I would be like, what happened? Not that I would quite say it to him like that, but I would point out, I said, you changed what you were doing midway through, didn't you? And he would say, he would admit, yes. I'd say, well, now it looks like you have two different pieces of artwork. I said, and I think you need to just stick to a vision, see it all the way through, decide whether or not you liked that, and then do a new piece if you didn't, or still do a new piece no matter what, but finish the vision as you had it, and then reassess. Anyway, it's kind of what I'm saying with Universal. And I would love to see them succeed, because here's the thing. Superheroes haven't mattered to me for like the longest time ever. Not saying that I would never work on them or whatever. I'm not going to be dumb about it. But, it's just like, it's not my jam. I would have loved to, in the heyday of Marvel and DC's movies, have this little, like, almost like counterculture thing with the Universal's Dark Universe Monster cinematic universe. Like, That would have gotten me excited. So much more than the Marvel and DC movies. Anyway, that's my universe. That's my take on the Universal thing. I hope The Bride of Frankenstein turns out awesome. And with Guillermo del Toro at the helm, I think there's a good chance it will be. But he's an interesting creator. Well, he's an interesting director for me. As a creator, oh my God, I respect the hell out of him. I wish my sketchbooks looked like his. You ever want to see something cool if you haven't? And you're watching, if you haven't looked it up already and you're watching this now or in the replay, if you want to see something really cool, look up Guillermo del Toro's sketchbooks. Those are so inspiring. But as a director, he's got like almost like a 50-50 hit or miss rate with me. I loved Pan's Labyrinth. I loved his Hellboy films. I did not like Blade 2 at all. I thought Blade 1 was a much superior film. There's another one that he did that I wasn't too crazy about. His Cabinet of Curiosities was good, but that was not... I think he directed one of the episodes, and now I can't remember which one it was, if he did. That was a good series. A couple of episodes I didn't care for too much, but it was a good series. Something else to watch for Halloween. Cabinet of Curiosities on Netflix. I didn't see Pacific Rim, but I didn't really have much of an interest. Yeah, he did Blade 2. I didn't like Blade 3 either. I thought Blade 1 was the only good film. And here's another little side note, right? When I was in college, I don't even remember what the movie was. I was telling a professor, this movie is really good. You should go out and watch it, blah, 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 blah. And a lot of my other, I really can't remember what the movie was, because what sticks in my mind is the question he asked me. A lot of my fellow classmates, there was this game design class, and this guy was pretty cool, but the professor was. A lot of my fellow peers in the game design class, they were like, no, don't go see it. It's a terrible movie, blah, 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 blah. I was like, no, it's really good. And the professor turns to me and he says to me, okay, tell me this. What do you like better, Blade 1 or Blade 2? And without missing a beat, I said, oh, Blade 1, 100%. He said, okay, I think it's probably a good film. I'm going to go see it. Whatever the film was that I was recommending to him. And the whole class was like, you got to be kidding me. How do you like Blade 1 better than Blade 2? It's like, Blade 2 isn't that great. You know, I didn't really like it, in my opinion. You know, if you like it, whatever. I don't knock anybody for what they like. I think there's value in all different forms of entertainment, but I just did not like Blade 2. And when I found out he had done that, it's like, well, I'm not sure how I feel about Guillermo del Toro as a director with that one being under his belt. I'm trying to remember now. I'm going to have to go on the internet really quick on my computer, which I have moved into a better spot so that I can easier get to things like Google and the chat here. Guillermo del Toro, because I know there's other films of his I did not like. I didn't see Pinocchio either. Wow, I'm going to sound really ignorant now because there's so many things that I haven't seen that's on his filmography. I don't remember Mimic well enough. Oh, Crimson Peak. Oh, Crimson Peak. You got to be kidding. I really thought that was going to be a great film. And there's an example of a period piece that I didn't like too much. I just didn't think it was as good as it was hyped up to be. I didn't like Crimson Peak. The Shape of Water was an excellent film. I didn't see Nightmare Alley. Very disappointed about it. I don't remember enough of Mimic, but I think I liked it. And later in life, well after it was over, a while after it was out, probably after I saw Crimson Peak, in fact, I saw Kronos, and Kronos was a good movie. You didn't hate Blade 2, but it wasn't your thing. My to read and watch list is so long. I'm also writing, so it's a mighty whirlwind of things to do. Oh, I didn't know you were writing, Sarah. That's interesting. I assume a book, since I think you said you're not much of a comic person, which is fair. I wasn't always a comic person either. I was, and then I wasn't for a long time. Even when I started working in comics, I used to be famous for saying I didn't really read comics. I read books. But then I found some comics I liked again, including Hellboy, which honestly the comic is so good. Whatever's going on with it nowadays, I feel like I don't know. Mike Mignola has been a little bit uneven with it now. He kind of ended it, but then it's still going, sort of. I'm not really sure, but but I get the to read and watch list. Funny enough, going back to that for a second, my read list always goes up. Like I moved on to these Stephen King books, which of course I haven't made much of a dent in because I've been so busy, right? But I moved on to these Stephen King books when my intention was to read Dune and my friend James's book, who's been on this, who's chimed in the comments. What else did I want to read? Dune. Oh, and Fallen Malazam, the Gardens of the Moon, or whatever that one book is. There's a bunch of books that are on. Like I was going to do. Oh, and I was going to finally read the collection of Wizard of Oz. Of Oz books that I have too, because I really want to start doing some more Oz related artwork and maybe even some writing too. We'll see. But yeah, it is my list. But oh, right. I was saying my watch list, though. It's a funny thing because if I ever do go on Netflix or Tubi, I have a big queue, big to watch list, right? It used to be named Q and on Netflix. That's been gone a while, I guess. But it used to be, it's so big. And I always wind up not picking anything on the list. I go and search through things to see what I might want to watch. It's the most ridiculous thing. And I'm sure a lot of people have a habit of doing that. But I don't know why. We're probably missing out on stuff that we really would like. Oh, nice. Nice. Thank you for starting to read it. It's never a requirement. I do appreciate that, though. I find that, and I'm guilty of it too, right? You buy a book, you intend to read it, but then you don't get to it for a couple of years. And, I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad about this. I'm not such a big name artist or writer where I think people are like, when they buy 5 books, I don't know that mine is the one that's on the top of the list. The book cover is so soft. I hope it's not because it was out in the elements, I mean, it was under a tent cover. But I always get worried about the how the merchandise holds up when it's been outside, even on a non-rainy day, which is when you picked it up, Sarah. It just sometimes the elements can have an effect on things. And I don't like selling anybody stuff that's in bad condition. But I'm sure you mean the actual material of the book. And yeah, it is kind of soft. Well, two things about that. Ingram's Bark does put out a good product. I like it. And secondly, I usually print my books with a matte finish. I know a lot of people are all about the glossy finish. And, there's even certain blogs and people that will tell you, oh, well, books with a glossy finish cover will sell better than a matte finish. But I got to be honest. I've been saying that a lot tonight, honestly, and I got to be honest. Well, at least I picked up on it. We'll see if I can honestly stop. But yeah, I prefer matte finish book covers. Any ones that I have, I love them so much better than it feels almost velvety. Yeah, well, that's because it's a matte finish cover, so it doesn't have that glossy feel. And yeah, I prefer that too. I prefer all books that have that. It's one of the things that Ingram Spark can do that a lot of comic printers don't do. Like when I get Gentleman Cthulhu and Chadiana finally into trades and not just single issue comics, I'm going to be able to get them printed with a matte finish cover and even pages that aren't so like sheen and glossy. And honestly, I really like the way it looks. People can hate me for that opinion. Well, not hate me, but they can disagree with me for that opinion all they want. I think it looks better. I think it feels better. So thank you for commenting on the feel of the book cover, Sarah. I now can feel even more confident with the fact that I made the right decision. I just prefer it. Of course, I'm not the one that invented it, though. It's just you don't see as many books with a matte cover. They exist. I think there's another thing. I haven't read Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, but I've wanted to. I have a second book by Susanna Clark, which I haven't read either. Something, Ladies of Something, I forget what it is, but that's got a matte finish on it. And I love that. I just think matte finish looks better. But then again, I like drawing pictures by hand rather than doing, digital work, which I still have a great love for good digital work, not AI, because that's not artwork, that's theft. But digital tends to have that glossy look to it too, in a way. And I much prefer pen and paper and pencil and paints, and that kind of more gels with my preference for a matte finish when printing things. Which reminds me, totally off topic, but I do want to do, I'm going to start doing canvas painting soon. Canvas paintings, yes, canvas paintings. No, not canvas paintings, canvas prints soon. I have to decide which designs are going to go on the canvas prints. But it's something I've been wanting to do for a long time. I tried it out once with a sample that never sold, but that was a long time ago. And I kept the sample. It's not back there anymore. I forgot where I put it. It was a Chadiana piece, but a much older one. And I would like to do canvas prints. Just something that's a little bit more of a novelty than the regular prints. Of course, the price will be a little higher, but some people really like that canvas print stuff. And I guess I'm thinking of matte finish because, that just makes a little bit more sense. I wonder if that's the kind of finish I'll be able to get with it. This has just been a fun little thing to do. Oh, this cat actually calmed down. She's just sitting right next to me, just living her life. Oh, I pet her. Now she's going to get up. Big mistake. I might have her just swipe the camera. Oh, no, she's laying back down. She must be so happy that I'm home. Just really happy to have me around. Whew, I feel like tonight's live stream was a strange journey through so many different topics. Some of them that I've probably left loose ends on because I'm so tired I don't even think I know where I am right now. But that's okay. What a difference. Part of me wishes I did stay in Salem for 2 days more, but I am happy to be home. It's been a while since I've been home, and I was busy the whole time. Did my podcast with Matt Farley, spent time with Steph and Carrie Ann. And then, did the Haunted Happenings thing, plus some relaxing in the end. We're almost there, Sarah. I go till 10, and I really don't want to end the stream early. What's funny is sometimes I get somebody like coming in right at the end. They're like, "Oh my God, did I miss it?" Yeah, you did. I'm about to close up shop. But, you know, I do want to just stick it out right till that very end, you know. Sometimes I feel like, you know, what good are we if we're not good on our word? I do try to live by that. I try to be honest and forthright as much as I possibly can. So yeah, I'll go till 10, Sarah. Will I go till 10:20 or 10:30 like I have before? No, I won't. I don't know that I'm going to get to finish this Plague Doctor in that time either, but, you know, unfortunately, you're the only one watching tonight. But yeah, for anybody that happens to, well, whatever. I mean, I was going to say it's $50 still, but I might just be selling it in Rhode Island, which is fine. This one in Glenda. But we'll see. I have some other things planned yet before the end of the year as well. Oh, yeah. Well, don't fall asleep in the middle of my live stream. I'd rather you went to bed too, but yeah, I'm going to be ending it in another minute. So don't worry about that. I just, I would like to finish it in the stream, but I was futzing with it too much. I have to take Steph's advice, which is, you know, that was one of the things he told me. Have the whole thing drawn out before the live stream so that it's ready to go. Because then people can see what you're doing, because always the drawings just don't show up well on camera. It's very hard to get the pencils to show up. But, you know, you ink it and you color it during the live stream, and then hopefully somebody claims it. Again, I just wasn't able to do the claiming thing and working on individual pieces for the live stream before this because everything was going into getting ready for Salem. Now I can finally get back to Chadiana like has been the intention for months and months and months and months. The Kirkland Horror is out, and then we'll see what comes to pass after that. Because I certainly will be doing more novels as well as graphic novels, and I really would like to see the Chadiana series through. I mean, it may not look 40, but I am 40, and it's not going to finish itself. So, and there's other projects I want to do, but yeah, it's 10 o'clock. So, and I am exhausted. I think it's just down to me and Sarah at this point, which is perfectly cool. Sarah, don't feel self-conscious about it. Sometimes I'm doing these outros with nobody watching. That's even weirder. But anyway, yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back next week on Tuesdays. I don't think there's any Tuesdays I have to move now. There's no birthdays, holidays, anything. Even Christmas, which I celebrate, is on a Monday, I think, this year. So I don't think I'm going to have to move the live streams for quite a long time now. They will stay on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time unless for some reason I need a week off or something has to change for an unforeseen reason, right? So yeah, I will see Sarah, hopefully you, and anyone else that's watching this in their replay on next Tuesday. What is that? November 7th? 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Yeah, I think I'm right on that. Thank you. I hope I have a good birthday too. I'm sure I will. And happy Halloween to you too, everyone out there. Sarah, who's ever watching this, I hope it's a safe and fun holiday for everyone. I'm going to be enjoying horror movies. Maybe try to track down Near Dark while I'm at it. Anyway, have a good night, everyone. Happy Halloween. See anyone, including Sarah, who's coming to Rhode Island, and everyone else. Hopefully, I'll see you next Tuesday. Take care. Have a good night.